Every journey begins in the mind, a flight of imagination, a vision of what might lie across the universe from beyond.
It went from when it seemed like nighttime to when it seems like morning time, where like she's making breakfast for both of the dudes, and she's all excited about it. She's like, I want to continue doing this thing. Ken Foree's character is like, he's like, what's the deal with me getting a boner when you turn the machine on? What is that about? And they explain the whole pineal gland related to the sexual feelings or something. So Ken, dude, is like, we need to get the hell out of here and not deal with this shit, because this is wrong and crazy, and we both just saw slime monsters, something bit me, and I puked, and she's like, no, we need to do this, it's for the greater good. And then she says something about her dad having schizophrenia, and this type of research could fix people's schizophrenia, heal them in some way. So she goes upstairs, and she starts rubbing on the machine, because of course she does. Like, this machine is so fascinating, but also makes me feel sexy. The Jeffrey Combs guy shows up, and he's just sweaty. He's wet the entire film. So she turns the damn machine back on like an idiot, and the guys were yelling at her, no, don't do it. And she's like, I need to feel more. The machine makes her and Jeffrey Combs dude start feeling sexy again, so they start making out, and guess who shows up? Dr. fucking Morpheus, Morbius. He shows up, and he's like, don't stop. Because he's got the pineal gland. His pineal gland is hard as a rock. Dr. Slimy Man grabs lady scientist person, Barbara, and brings her close. Everyone must join me. His fingers are like growing longer, and he like rips off her shirt, and he's like fondling her titties with his slimy Pretorius hands. So the dudes go down to the basement because that's the only way they can turn off the main power to shut the machine down, because it's kind of running itself, and you can't shut it off because there's monsters up there. So they go down to the basement to shut the thing off, and there's like a giant worm creature monster there, and it looks great. It's large, and it has like a Tremor's face, and it's got like teeth. They yank the cord out of the wall, and it shuts the machine down. Well, there's actually a really great scene where they show his legs dangling out of the worm monster's mouth, and it's still like a big, cool looking effect. He was like halfway into the monster. He comes back and he's all like bald. He's hairless. He's bald, and he's like half naked. And it's really, and then when the thing is shut down, he's like, I was almost digested. So I think that's why he's missing some of his hair. So everything disappears. Lady Barbara, doctor person, is back in the S&M room. She's touching the leather. She grabs like one of the leather outfits or whatever, starts like rubbing it, like sniffing it, like rubbing it on herself. Jeffrey Combs was sleeping right behind her while she's putting the shit in. I don't know how he got in the room, whatever, but she puts on the shit and starts like going over to him and like getting on him while she's all dressed up crazy, like trying to bang him while he's asleep. Ken Foree walks in, and then she starts trying to seduce that guy. While that's happening, the evil force magics itself. It magics electricity back into the cords that were ripped out from the wall. And Jeffrey Combs' dude is like, it's turning itself back on from beyond. And then there's a weird bit where they're up in next to the resonator thing, and there's like a bunch of weird like flakes. This is an odd effect that they go for, where there's like purple sand flakes attaching themselves to Ken and Barbara, other dude and Barbara. But Ken shows up, and he's got a flashlight, and for some reason when he uses the flashlight, the purple sand particle, they start going for him because he has the flashlight for some reason. I don't really get that. But anyway, in the next scene, those sand particle things have, like, eaten away at his body. And Dr. Slimy Monster Gorius shows up again, and he's like, Oh, hello. Kiss me. Humans are such easy prey. He's got the ultimate fucking dickhead. Crawford dude tries to resist the whole thing, but he gets his headworm growing out. And then he's got like predator sight, like from the movie Predator. It goes, and then he's like, he's got like, he can see that like heat vision kind of thing. It's a little bit like that. The lady Dr. Barbara person tries to pull out the headworm, and then old Jeffrey Combs dude, he ends up with just a bloody butthole in the middle. I can't explain it any other way. It's a bloody butthole in the middle of his head. Looks like a butthole. It's bloody. It's dripping down his face. That's what's going on. Somehow Lady ends up in the hospital as well as Jeffrey Combs guy in the hospital, but he escapes almost immediately, just really, really easily. People in this hospital are not paying attention. And they're not locking doors either. He just opens a door, notices that no one is looking, walks out into another room. And he's still using the trippy predator vision thing. Seeing shit. And they're like prepping her for shock therapy because they think she's crazy and shock therapy will help. So they're putting like fucking nodes and shit on her. One of the people working there walks into the room that Jeffrey Combs guy walked into and finds him eating organs out that he found. He just walked into a room, found an organ, maybe it's a heart, maybe it's something, but he's just like on the ground eating this thing, and he's got fucking bloody butthole forehead. And the person's like, "What are you doing in here, bloody butthead?" And he snaps out of it for a second. He's like, "I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. Something's happening to me." So like, he's not full crazy. Grabs her head, goes right up to her face, right up where the eyeball is, and goes. He's sucking her brain out through her eyeball. So Barbara Lady is about to be shocked. Other people leave because they realize the guy's out there sucking brains and eating hearts. So they leave, and she's able to knock the doctor guy out and escape. This movie's all about sucking brains and wiggly foreheads. He finds some other people coming into the hospital and just like sneaking around, sucks another fucking eyeball out, spits it on the ground, and then just goes straight up. But he's like in and out of his mind. Like sometimes he's normal and sometimes he's taken over by his pineal desires. Eating brains and having sex are directly related to the pineal gland in your head. Lady Barbara person and guy Crawford Combs guy, they both go back to the house, and you see the address again, and it's 666. But you see what street it's on. It's Benevolent Street. Shouldn't that be malevolent? I don't think it's a benevolent street. It's probably more of a maleficent. It's not very maleficent. This might be more of a peppermint or a Pretorius. Out of nowhere, lady fucking has like a bunch of sticks of dynamite, and she has taped them to what looks like a Nintendo Entertainment System that also looks like an alarm clock. So this is an NES alarm clock dynamite situation. She puts it right on the resonator. Crawford shows up and starts like putting her into the sex room. His fucking worm wiener comes back. She grabs his fucking his forehead butthole worm wiener and she bites it. And I was like, oh! Oh! Dr. Dracar Noir shows up. Doctorius Brown shows up again. Predatorius. He's a predator. He's voracious. Dr. Gregorius shows up, and he has a little back and forth with Crawford dude. Like, you never understood people, and you're just all about this, and you're a crazy person, Dr. Gregorius. Well, maybe you can help me understand what I'm missing. We need to become one. I need to understand you. Maybe you can help me learn to be like this. Doctor, what's his fuck? Like, turns into a bat and kind of flaps into the scene. And it looks really bad, and that's the one time that I was thinking this looks really bad. But the bat thing creature is the doctor. It ends up biting off Crawford guy's head, There were like worms flying around her while she was still kind of locked up in the shackles or whatever. The worms seemed to help her get out of it. I couldn't really tell if they were trying to help or if they were just there to make her want to get out or something. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this shit. Dr. Slimy Monster had ingested Crawford Jeffrey Combs guy, and he's like trying to bust out. So there's really awesome effects of like him inside the monster, and like you see an arm getting out and attacking the creature, and then you see more of him, and his body kind of slides out, and he's like, get out of here! And he's like trying to fight the monster but being taken back into it. It's so cool. Why don't movies do this kind of stuff anymore? There were so many cool little effects, and sometimes it went by a little bit too quickly that I feel like there was almost too many really good moments that should be appreciated and gone back and like looked at. But the dynamite goes off, she jumps out the window, fucking the house fucking exploded. The lady that had the dog from the beginning is the first one to show up on the scene after the explosion. The Barbara lady is just like shaken to the goddamn core, and she's like, it ate him. And then she does fucking crazy laugh, and that's how it ends. I was so satisfied. This movie was like a warm hug from sci-fi 1982 horror Jesus, and I was happy. It's so good. I loved everything about this movie. I clapped when it was done. I clap for it now. I want to watch it again. It's old, so you can expect things to look a little bit dated, but they used awesome effects back then. And the way they overcame their limitations through these effects just elevates it so much. It's a horror movie. It's hard to find good horror movies. The acting was cheesy and goofy, which is what you can expect from this type of movie, which I'm totally fine with that. It's not your traditional werewolf, zombie, mummy, vampire, whatever, the kind of stuff we see all the time. It's like demons from other dimensions. It's creatures that have never been seen or thought of before. That's what makes it really, really interesting. And the practical effects and stuff just add to that and make it even better. Totally into this movie. I totally recommend this movie. I think more people should see it and know that it exists. It's got a little bit of nudity. You see the woman's breasts briefly, but it's kind of even hard to see because the lighting is a little harsh. And there is a little bit of sex stuff here and there. Not really a lot of cursing. Totally fucking just go watch this movie. If you like new CG effects and everything being perfect, don't watch this movie. But if you like good old schlocky but interesting old horror movies, definitely check this one out. Thank you guys for watching. I am Chris, and I will do more movies next time, and hopefully I can find more like this. Feel free to suggest any if you have any ideas that are similar. Later, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out. And they're... bleh. Care. That one. Don't blow up my resonator!